वेलकम टू कंसल्टिंग 101। मैंने क्वार्टर जिप पहनी जिसका मतलब तुम्हें पता है कि आई ओनली मीन सीरियस बिजनेस। जस्ट किडिंग। इस वीडियो को मैंने ना 3 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया है क्योंकि ये बहुत बेसिक रखना चाहता था मैं। सो व्हाट मतलब वो क्या एग्जैक्टली इसका मतलब क्या होता है। Why did I call it engineering of corporate world in my last video, and who do you generally meet here, which means the kind of people you meet and other stuff related to it, by the way. But I'll start talking about it when we reach there. Now, starting with the what, right? If you have seen any LinkedIn video, any funny memes, for some reason, whenever a consultant is asked in those videos, like, what do you do? They start saying random shit like, oh, I collaborate with the CEOs, CFOs, I solve executive level problems. Okay, yeah, I get it. Explain what? So if I were to very like in most basic term, if I were to tell you it, majority of consulting is to diagnose. Sorry, मेरी कॉल आ गई थी एक जरा. So yeah, majority of the consulting, like if I were to break 100%, right, I would put like a 75%. Then some of the firms go take a step deeper. They go to level 2, which is just called to solve problems, which I would say I don't know, like 15%. And then some of them also deep dive even further, and this is called to 10%. What does this exactly mean? To diagnose, to solve, to implement. Diagnosis, like the word means, for I will be explaining everything from the supply chain point of view. But so diagnosis is, let's say there's a customer. He goes to a store. He wants to buy an ice cream. He sees that the ice cream that he wanted does not exist. There are two options to this for this customer: buy an alternate, go to a different store. And this is where it ends for most of us. But for me, this very small incident has triggered a lot of things. This alternate means going for an alternate brand means you're going for a competitor, which means their revenue is going to go up. You are going to a different store you may find the same ice cream, which means you are helping another retailer up their revenue. If you didn't find an ice cream and you are like health conscious or anything, you're like, oh, you know what, good that I didn't find. It's a customer sentiment that has gone down. Did you know all of this is going to happen? No, this was a very simple problem, but this is what a consultant is going to look at. Now, of course, like the if it keeps, this is just one, right? If it keeps happening with multiple people, imagine the revenue competitor is gaining, the competitor retailer is gaining, and my client may be losing. So the client comes to me, they're like, hey, I don't know what's happening, but our competitor is growing, our market share is declining, our retailer, if it's a retailer client, then similar problems. Can you help us? Why? Because they do not know that at the very ground level this has happened, right? Now this could have happened for any like literally billion reasons. For example, there's a raw material supplier, there's a manufacturer of ice cream, there's a distributor, there's a retailer, and then you have the end customer. And of course there are multiple stuff here, which is like logistics, warehousing, etc. This problem could have occurred at any, like, due to any of this process. For example, the raw material people were not able to give the raw material. Manufacturer got delays in manufacturing. The distributor could not send it on time. So any of this could have happened, and this is what me as a consultant and my team, the specialists that we have, these are the people who are going to solve this problem. So this is what consulting is about. It's solving problems that is not often very visible, could be triggered by any minute incident. For example, let's say this person, the ice cream that was supposed to be there, the logistics person met the truck met with an accident or something. So it could be the smallest of the things that could lead to such huge impact on someone's business. This was diagnosis, right? Now let's talk about what is solving. This is all that I have diagnosed. I was able to figure out that you had some problem here. Now what about solving, right? So now I will start. There are different tools that the way we do it, but depending on the industry, depending on the field, for example supply chain, we have different different tools. We have different models that we have built in past, and we have experts that are going to help us figure out how do you make sure that none of this or any of the problem happens in the entire chain, right from the raw material to until the person has received their ice cream. So this is called solving a problem. And the third thing comes is implement, right? Now what does it mean? Let's say when we were solving, one of the things that came out was that you should have a distribution center. The implement would mean that we are working with the client to help set this up. This is consulting. Now let's come to the point where I said, why is it called the engineering of the corporate world, right? So I'll take my example. For me, because I'm the first family graduate, by the way. Yeah? So for me, I did not have any exposure. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I have 91% in 12th, so I will just take PCM because all of my friends were there. So I just took PCM. I did JEE, not too great. I think, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I did piece, and then when nothing worked out, I just did a Google search. I found Xavier's as like one of the premier schools in India, so I went for their BSc degree. I ended up completing the degree in 3 years, and then even my I think fifth sem, when all the companies started coming to campus, I didn't know what I'm supposed to do, what I wanted to do, and that's where my then girlfriend, now wife, introduced me to consulting. Now the reason, again, going back to why is it called engineering, is once I joined consulting, I realized that one, consulting is industry agnostic, which means most of the consulting is industry agnostic, which means that you will be learning in every industry. So until now, in my last 7.5 years now, I have worked in consumer products and retail. I have worked in finance. I have worked in insurance. I have worked in marine vehicles. I have worked in proper automobiles, and the list goes on. And over the time, I have figured it out that okay, consumer products and retail is something that I love the most. So the reason for calling it engineering is once you have spent I think 2 to 3 years in consulting, you realize what you do not want to do, which industry do you not want to be a part of, and you may also figure out that you may not want to do consulting long time as well, but that's okay. That's why, again, engineering, because you don't want to do this, or there's a specific industry that you dislike. You might still not be able to figure out which one do you like, but you for sure would get to know by the end of 2 to 3 years that this is the industry that I do not want to work with. So this is why I call it the engineering, because it gives you that opportunity of a window of those 2 to 3 years where you figure out that okay, this is definitely what I do not want to do. Now the last part, which is who would you meet here, like I've discussed, right, in the last part, apart from the money and everything, the learning, you get to meet the smartest people here. I am not kidding at this point. If you, and especially the generation that's now in college or just started working, if you want to meet people who you can vibe with while learning from them, go to consulting. If you want to meet people also who are mature, younger, elder to you, bring knowledge, who you think you can learn from, go to consulting. The reason, because while, yeah, of course, they've spent their time in industry, they are working around people of this cohort, like literally very young people, like people who just graduated, never worked a day, but they went to the best colleges in the country. So you meet the smartest people, while and because these mature people have been working with them, they have also become cool, I would say. Okay. This Another reason, the kind of people that you meet over there is because all of them, most of the consulting folks that just join out of their college or like after graduation, I don't know the exact number, but it should be between 2 to 4 years. That's their average tenure, which means these people are moving out to foreign universities for their further studies, or different countries for jobs, or even in the same country but different megacorps, I would say, or MNCs. So you get a very crazy network which spans literally across the globe. So this is the kind of people that you meet over there, and this apart from your college, apart from MBA colleges, I think this is the second best place where you can network. I think, I don't know, like, I don't think there's anything that I would want to explore as an intro thing for consulting, but of course, in the next video, I'm going to explain you the ecosystem of consulting, which means we'll be talking about who is there and what are they doing. I'll see you again.